I've been invited here by the IEF to be a speaker on two panels. One is today to give India's government perspective on the energy sector, to speak on transportation, and that would be in the context of, as I'm sure you're aware, India had launched the Global Biofuels Alliance during India's G20 presidency as a presidency initiative. And that is a very important platform to ensure decarbonization of transportation, both road, possibly maritime, and of course aviation as well. They say that a witty man says you can prove anything with statistics, and never ask a statistician to bet his career on the statistics, because what may hold good today may not hold good tomorrow. And of course that's a realism which we felt during these discussions. In fact, they also said it's an outlook, not necessarily a forecast. Now they are important because they do give, and these are a lot of experts who sit in together and work on this. Now of course it's hard to understand the granular and micro level of each country's, but they give a broad perspective of where they think let's say the proliferation of energy is going to go, how its energy sector is going to divide, where does renewable stand, where does nuclear stand, where does crude of oil, of course, and natural gas stand. So in a matrix, of course, it is relevant because we are currently almost at a crossroads. There is a need for a sustainable, inclusive development, but at the same point of time, there is a need to ensure all energies. There's a need to ensure energy security is prioritized, and I think that really came out across in the discussions. It's a theme which the Indian side has really been highlighting, that affordability, accessibility, reliability, and sustainability, and in fact even energy justice, which ensures that every person, every citizen has the access to energy, becomes important themes when we're discussing this. So I think one of the initiatives which India has really prioritized and has really been lauded for is its ability to ensure penetration of clean cooking. Now, the traditional forms of cooking, not only do they have a very negative and almost a pernicious impact on health, but they are fetters to any form of socio-economic growth or even socio-economic mobility. They impact the women, they impact the young, it causes gender imbalances, because as we've seen in a lot of countries, it's the women and the girl child who is part of the cooking process. Not to say that should be a rule, I cook myself, but in that scenario, when they're using traditional forms, not only do they have to go out and collect firewood, which takes time away from productive economic activity, but breathing in that smoke, which is high in carbon, can really impact their health. There have been various informations of how many trillions of dollars are lost on account of non-viable or non-proper forms of clean cooking. Now, therefore, that also then becomes a question of access and affordability, because if you're looking at the poorer sections of society, the more vulnerable sections of society, for them there's one option which is easily available. So availability comes up in firewood and biomass. It's easily available, and it is very affordable because in some cases there's no economic value attached to it. But at the same point of time, it is not sustainable neither for the environment and, more importantly, nor for health. So this trilemma is actually a very, very difficult trilemma to resolve. In India, we've created a model for resolving it through both Ujjwala and the various clean cooking initiatives. As a result, we've almost, in about 8 years, we've increased our penetration of clean cooking solutions from 61% to near saturation. So there are certain unique stories in this, and what we would say, and when India was chair of the G20, it prioritized global South-related cooperation. That was South-led, South-owned, demand paradigm, bottom-up approach towards these solutions. I think these solutions need to be magnified. They need to be highlighted so that these solutions can then be brought in to various countries and see how they can be adapted. I think there's a lot more work which needs to be done on ensuring the reliability of existing energy pathways, reducing the carbon or improving the efficiencies of existing traditional fuels as well. where those have access, where the countries have access to, but at the same point of time working together, trying to build research and development, setting up demo plants for the future fuels, for the fuels of the future, and how we can drive down those costs. One thing which was really successful again in India was the biofuel story. So in 2014 we had about 36 million litres of blending. Now we've crossed 6 billion litres, and that has been done in a span of 10 years. As a result, we've been able to ensure ethanol blending of 1.4% up to 19%. Through these pathways, we're also looking to decarbonize the aviation sector. So we're looking to build up on SAF. How do we decarbonize that? There are multiple pathways, but what we would stress is there is no silver bullet to resolve decarbonization of transport. Yes, in some sectors like aviation currently, SAF is the only proven. Electricity, hydrogen isn't a viable solution. But for others, there are multiple pathways. Like we heard today, there was EV mobility is going up, hydrogen is going up, LNG is a solution, and biofuels is a solution. So we want to portray a picture and give countries the flexibility and the freedom to identify the pathway which works best for them, while together working on decarbonizing the very challenging, hard to abate sectors within this. It could be maritime shipping or even aviation.